Minnesota recently passed a law that will render most non-competes entered into on or after July 1st, 2023 void and unenforceable. The law defines a non-compete as an agreement that prohibits an employee or independent contractor from working for another employer for a specific period of time, working in a specific geographic area, or performing work for another employer that's similar to the work they perform for their current employer following their termination. The law does not prohibit non-solicit, non-disclosure, or other similar restrictive covenants. The law will not necessarily impact the enforceability of pre-existing non-competes. There will be two exceptions to the prohibition on non-competes. First, if the non-compete is agreed to by the seller during the sale of a business, it may be enforceable if it's otherwise geographically and temporally reasonable. Second, if the non-compete is agreed to as part of the dissolution of a business, the owners of the business may agree not to compete in the geographic area where it did business. Separately, the law prohibits employers from requiring employees who work and live in Minnesota and are involved with any claims arising in Minnesota, relating to a non-compete or not, from one, having to adjudicate those claims outside of Minnesota, and two, having governing law apply that's less protective than Minnesota law. Employees who are enforcing their rights under the law may be entitled to injunctive relief and reasonable attorney's fees. Minnesota is now the fourth state, along with California, Oklahoma, and North Dakota, with a ban on non-competes. Many others have limited the enforceability of these types of agreements through legislation and/or the courts. In addition to current restrictions, numerous bills that either ban or restrict non-competes are being proposed in state legislatures across the country, including a bill in New York that would ban non-competes. The U.S. House and Senate are considering similar bills, and, as discussed on a previous LaborSpeak, the FTC recently proposed a ban on non-competes. This all comes at a time when judges are taking a harder line on non-competes. With such an unpredictable non-compete landscape, it's becoming more difficult for employers in certain states, or with workers across the country, to draft enforceable non-competes. If you need help drafting a non-compete, or any other restrictive covenant, or if you have any questions, feel free to contact a member of our team.